Hey, hello, friends. This is Charles Bird, and welcome to the March 13th, 2022 edition of Rant-Om Thoughts, where sacred cows are grilled and killed for your lunching and munching pleasure. Friday evening, second week in a row, we let we led our another peace demonstration. Just like last time, public reaction, from motorists and other passersby was generally positive. Lots of cheering, thumbs up, honking. It does my heart a lot of good to know that I might not be in the minority on this, that we don't need to be involved in foreign wars, that Ukraine is not our fight. And that interventionism made this mess and will only make it worse. So it feels good that not only am I not alone, but there are probably more people out there who think the way I do than I've previously thought. Not only that, somebody shared a screenshot of a press release that I wrote in response to the crisis as chairman of the Stanislaus County Libertarian Party, and they posted a screenshot of that in the Stanislaus County news group. Now it's generally, a back the blue Trumpy type group, even though they claim to be nonpartisan. But the reaction to it was actually very positive. A lot of people were agreeing with it. I mean, there were a couple of neocons making their noises. Dur, 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 isolationism. Dur, 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 dur. America must fight because America's strong. Dur, dur, war good. Dur, dur, dur. But they got bombarded with laugh reacts. And seeing that gave me what the kids these days would call a white pill, a very, very positive sensation. The Mises Caucus has been prevailing in state convention after state convention, and we prevailed in Long Beach, the California State Convention down there. I was there. Not only did I witness it, I was a proud participant in the events. It was a very successful convention. It was very orderly compared to what we've seen take place at other conventions. And attendance was at such a record that if we were to ever hold a convention in SoCal again, we can't use that venue anymore because it would be too small. The Mises Caucus got most of what they wanted, and it was it was great. And other highlights besides the business itself, I had lunch at the same table with Dave Smith, who is the same guy in person that he is on the podcast. He's just very relaxed, um, very calm demeanor, very very pleasant to be around. And Justin Amash, former Congressman Amash, he was sitting at the next table. I attended the gala dinner, the Saturday night gala dinner, and after the dinner, I was privy to a 3 hour long conversation with Justin Amash. It must have lasted till like 1 in the morning. Uh, and I'll tell you something right now. The only thing better than reading a former congressman's memoirs is actually hearing what DC is really like from a former congressman directly in a very candid conversation. And yeah, not sure how much of it I can repeat, but uh, yeah, it's worse than most of us think. It's worse than most of us think. Um, the parties, they actually write scripts for their congressmen. When the C-SPAN cameras go off, the people who pretend to be mortal enemies in front of the camera, they get all buddy buddy with each other. It's more fake than professional wrestling. There was this really funny moment during the conversation. It was in the Marriott lobby. One of the TVs was playing Fox News, and Rand Paul uh, popped up on the screen, and Justin Amash turned around with a very funny look on his face, said, "Who's dressing him? He looks terrible." But it was an excellent conversation. Yeah. And you should definitely check out both Dave Smith's and Justin Amash's podcast. I think I will link to those below in the description, and I think I'll also link video footage of the California State Convention also below in the description. Now, to outsiders, this might seem like a dull affair, but if you're a voting delegate and you're really in the thick of the floor battles and you know what's at stake if you lose, it is very important stuff. It is. It kind of feels like war. A war between those of us in the liberty movement, specifically those of us who are the remnant of the Ron Paul army. Let me get a better shot of the shirt. Of the Ron Paul army of the revolution. those of us who actually believe in the cause and have, you know, and have the buckets of blood, sweat, and tears to prove it, versus an alliance of two adversarial forces. One of them being the Cosmotarians, the people who think the Libertarian Party should be this centrist, quote unquote, fiscally conservative, socially liberal movement. Socially liberal, fiscally conservative, socially liberal party that, jumps on the left-wing cause du jour and sucks up to the establishment. And the other adversarial force being these obstructionist cranks who are deliberately working to keep the party small and irrelevant. They treat RONR, Robert's Rules of Order, and Francis and Francis like their advanced Dungeons and Dragons manuals. They deliberately jam everything up with their stupid parliamentary games. just to ensure that nothing ever really gets done and no real issue gets addressed. Oh, and yeah. I mean, these are the people who will pull stunts like strip down to their underwear at the National Convention in 2016, or support the candidacy of Vermin Supreme, a performance artist who wears a boot for a hat, and then they turn around and accuse the Mises Caucus of being unprofessional. The gall of these people. But you know what? We're winning. They're losing. They know they're losing. They're getting desperate. As a matter of fact, there was this one character. Let's just call him by his first name, Dick. Throughout the second day of business, he kept desperately nominating himself for this or that office. Not only that, he fibbed big time on his resume, saying that he was a county pro tem of a county that I know for a fact has no organized libertarian party in it. And I know this because I've reached out to registered libertarians in that county, which is adjacent to Stanislaus, in the hopes that they would attend our meetings and our events, and I could introduce them, and maybe they could get something started up there. Yeah. But anyway, the convention went well. It went very orderly. I might also link to footage from the Pennsylvania convention, just so you know how different it is from California's convention. Now, Pennsylvania's convention was wild. There was a lot of screaming, lots of weeping, lots of wailing. of gnashing of teeth from the opposition. You know, they a lot of them actually you know, quit the party, and I say good riddance. You know, it's addition by subtraction. We have work to do, and they won't be there to disrupt it. As we get closer to Reno, as I said, the opposition, what remains of it, they're going to get desperate. You're going to start hearing stuff about the Mises Caucus and the people involved. You might even end up hearing stuff about me, even though I'm small fries. um, I will to all that I will say here in California, the Mises Caucus has been doing excellent work. For instance, we're building an infrastructure for the Libertarian Party in the much neglected rural counties. For years and years, we've been very SoCal heavy. And you know, even though there are registered libertarians, there is no organized LP in a lot of those rural counties. So it's important we get something, you know, set up out there. Not only that, there are also small L libertarians who, because there is no libertarian organization, they end up in the Republican Party, and they get treated like battered wives by an abusive Republican Party leadership who expects their donations and their volunteer time and their votes, you know, despite, you know, being, you know, utterly abusive towards them. And you know, that kind of toxicity has got to stop. It's time these people are given a real alternative. And we've also been spearheading the resistance to the COVID regime out here in California. While the Republicans, between the moderates who gleefully and joyfully went along with the farce, and the MAGA set who wasted time with their own farce, the stolen election narrative, Trump's imaginary re-election, waiting on JFK Jr. to come out of hiding to reinstate Trump. So the Republican Party has been very useless on the issue. And it's been libertarians, particularly Mises Caucus libertarians, who've been leading the fight. Even while, you know, Con Inc. has been, you know, distracted with other stuff. You know, and my friend Angela McCardle, she scored a big win this week with Los Angeles lifting the vaccine passport mandate for indoor businesses. She put together a ballot initiative, and even though they lifted the mandate, she is going to keep pushing that initiative to make sure it never happens again. And as many of you may already know, Angela McArdle is a candidate for LNC chair. And when she wins her race, and when the Mises Caucus prevails in Reno, she's going to be taking that work that she's been doing in Los Angeles nationwide. Opposition to the COVID regime, what's left of it, will be front and center of the agenda. That and opposing whatever war the neocons and the liberal humanitarians may have coming down the pipeline. These are great times in which to be alive. I'm very optimistic and very excited. And here's some more good news. I just learned via email that my church will once again be observing communion at the rail. I said at the very start of the pandemic that I will return to church when we once again worship as we have worshipped for hundreds of years. I believed that it was a grievous error when my pastor and the congregation's leadership decided to, quote unquote, defer to civil authorities and go along with this. So I chose to stay home on Sundays and wait until we once again felt free to worship the way that we worshipped for centuries. And now, communion at the rail has returned. And next week I will be attending my first service since before the pandemic. And I can't put in words how much it means to me to have that back in my life. All right. Well, that's going to be it for now. Let me know about the quality of the vid. I'm trying different things with the phone. I found out that if you're going to film, that it's a good idea to put it on airplane mode. That's what I should have done when I tried filming Mondo Modesto, which I will be attempting again in the near future. All right. Reopen America. Think while it's still legal. Fight war, not wars. I will be seeing you next time.